Hello everybody and welcome to Stick to the Manga, your weekly manga podcast where each week we talk about a new manga. This week we're talking about Detective Conan, but in English it's called Case Closed. A recommendation by LaKeisha.
Yep.
LaKeisha, do you want to read the summary?
Sure, I'll pull it up in a second. So, Shinichi Kudo, teen detective, is physically transformed into an elementary schooler after an unfortunate encounter with the Men in Black and being forced to drink something mysterious. On a quest to get back to normal and get some answers, he helps his crush's detective father and others solve crimes involving celebrities, ghosts, rich people, and more. And there you go.
And more. Does he help furries?
In those 1,000 chapters, he had to have helped at least one furry.
Let's.
Okay, we need to do some research on this, guys.
I mean,
there's fan art somewhere.
There's definitely fan art.
And
We
fan
need to
fiction.
know.
And if you don't want to be spoiled, don't continue to listen to this podcast because we're going to talk about spoilers now.
Though.
And we don't want to ruin it for you. But if you keep listening and it gets ruined for you, then fuck dude, that was a big mess up on your part.
Stop. Please.
Animation.
Okay, whispering. No.
Wow, my computer is dusty.
Anyway, our talking points. Gabi, how did you like that first chapter when the dude just got fucking decapitated?
Okay. Did you just become Southern for a second?
Get one day get decapitated.
Literally, okay, so I've seen, like, pictures of, like, the cover of this manga, and I've seen, like, the thumbnail of the anime, and I've always just wondered why there's a little boy, but I literally know nothing. Like, besides LaKeisha here, of course, I have no friends who've ever read or watched this anime, so I knew nothing about it. So I'm like watching it, and I'm like, who's this cocky little high schooler? Because you know they're in high school. He's like a freshman or something.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, someone gets decapitated, and it was literally like blood everywhere. I was not ready for it. I wasn't expecting it.
I actually don't remember that part.
That was the roller coaster in the first
That's
chapter.
chapter 1.
That part. Yeah, no, I wasn't expecting that either.
I also had a similar experience to you, Gabi, where I like saw it all the time. Like I specifically remember like reading physical manga when I was younger, and it was always in the back of the manga, like, "Hey, read Case Closed."
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. So, I mean, we've kind of talked a little bit, if you've been here for a while, about how I don't really watch a lot of the long stuff. The only one I watched was Bleach, but I gave up after a while with that too. So this one, with how many episodes, even like 10 years ago when I started reading a lot of manga, it was still way too long. It was still like 500 chapters long, and I was like, no, I'm good.
So, for a little
Shonen
bit of
anime is a little long.
Oh yeah. For a little bit of context on how massive Detective Conan is, it started serialization in January of 1994. There's 1,054 chapters of the manga released in Japan. The anime adaptation has 28 seasons with 974 episodes, 27 OVAs, 25 movies, one of which has been delayed due to current events at the time of this recording. And it has 18 TV specials. And one of the movies is a crossover with Lupin the Third, which is another big series that like involves crime and bad dudes.
Mm-hmm.
This is It is a big boy. Even compared to other big boys, it is a very big manga.
I can't believe I caught up with this manga in high school. Jesus. Well, I'm not caught up anymore because I'm not in high school anymore. And a million chapters have released ever since I caught up. So I don't think I'm going to get caught up again unless I really buckle down and reread. I got to like
I don't-
volume 54.
Jesus.
So we're not rating it because we rate things at the end, but I actually really enjoyed it. I watch a lot of crime shows. I don't actually read crime novels, which is interesting, but I do
Excuse me?
watch a lot of crime shows in my free time. So I actually liked all the mystery and stuff. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, I
However-
love mysteries.
This is a real spoiler past the 3 volumes, by the way. Just
Go
warning,
ahead.
if you don't want to hear it, give 30 seconds. Is that even now he still hasn't returned to his normal size, and that's the only thing I want to know. So I don't think I would read it just for that, because that would piss me off.
Does he ever return? Like,
No.
honestly.
No.
Oh!
At least thus far, no. And it's like 1,000 chapters in.
Frick. That's horrible. Like, I'm a guy that likes closure, man. I
But I
need to
will.
know.
So getting back to the 3 volumes that we actually read, how did you guys feel about Shinichi originally?
I
I
liked
thought
it.
Honestly,
Oh my gosh.
He's a great sarcastic character. He's funny, but it just seemed he's too much of an asshole.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily think he was an asshole, but he definitely is cocky as hell and full of himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that kind of happens. He was one of those people who was really smart and like successful, and instead of being humble, he was like, I am great. Like, look at me, I'm great.
But one of the
Yeah.
things, though, is I think that honestly is important for him, though, because the only way that he could be so successful, even as a detective, as a teenager, and like have cops respect him, is if he has the confidence to go out there and be like, I'm right. Without that, like, he wouldn't have been that successful, which sounds a little weird, but it fits his character for me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't necessarily think he's the most lovable person. I like him
Yeah.
much better when he gets taken down to a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
Taken
me
down
too.
a notch.
Yeah.
Pick on
but
somebody
the
your own
problem-
size, right?
The problem is he becomes so useless, though. He becomes so useless, nobody hears what he has to say.
But
And
that's kind of the point, though. Like, it's such a huge contrast. He has to figure out how to make it work in different ways, which is why it's funny. Like, when he knocks out Rand's dad in, like, the first murder they solved together, the suicide, actually. He,
Yeah,
like,
with
knocks
the
him out to use the
ashtray.
voice changer.
yeah.
I was like, why'd he knock him out?
It's cool. So, yeah. I thought it was because of out of anger at first. I was like, oh, okay, that's something.
It's pretty interesting how, by the way, he does this almost every time during the 1,000 chapters. It's very interesting how no one notices that Ron's dad's lips don't move when he gives his whole monologue.
They just think he's a ventriloquist, okay? He's a man of many talents.
Yes.
But I thought that was because it was literally chapter 1 where he became a child, right? It wasn't chapter 2, it was chapter 1, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
end of
Yeah.
chapter 1.
I was like, wow, that is so interesting. And I don't know, it just boggles my mind that there's still like nothing really to do with that in the series. That really bothers me. But I thought it was a really good first chapter, and it's never that gory from what we read. Like the
No.
first chapter was the most gory out of all of them.
And the thing is, the Men in Black, they do make appearances, but so rarely. Like, I don't know about the other volumes after that, but the Men in Black the whole purpose is to find the Men in Black. But he only runs into them like once or twice so far in the 3 volumes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of Like, what?
Yeah, like I thought like the Men in Black was gonna be like a little bit more involved, but I also see why they aren't.
Because they keep that theme going for so long.
Yeah,
If they were
for
more
a
involved, they
thousand
would have to
fifty four
end it.
chapters.
It makes me
Yeah.
wonder if this is one of those stories where the author was like, this is the premise. I don't know how successful my story is going to be. So I have a storyline planned for it, but I just have random mysteries that I'm going to do until then. And then it became very, very popular. So he's like, might as well keep going with with the random mysteries.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what happened. I'm pretty sure the like series creator probably has the ending already planned out and is just like, when it starts to die off, when I don't want to do it anymore, he'll be a grown up or he'll die.
Yeah. He probably has had some Easter eggs hidden, but it's so long you probably don't realize that they're Easter eggs
Yeah.
until like it finishes and then people start writing like theses on the series.
Oh, Detective Conan was also featured on Conan on TBS
Oh, of course.
in a video called Conan Calls Out Detective Conan.
Oh, calls out. Did it end poorly?
Call out post for Detective Conan.
So, okay, so for me, we've kind of talked about a lot of us have issues with the whole overlying mystery because I want to know more. That's just how I am. So, how did you guys feel about the smaller mysteries built into the chapters?
Honestly, it confused me. I was like, okay, so are we on a different timeline? Are we on a different thing? Or like there was no, it was just suddenly, oh, we're on a boat and we missed a boat from a vacation and da da. But in the earlier chapters, you're like, what vacation? What? Like that really confused me how they transitioned.
Yeah, like the random time skips is kind of weird.
Yeah, so one of the biggest time skips that bothered me was when he went to the quote unquote haunted house with his classmates of first graders, and at the very end, they ended with, "This is my house." And then the next chapter had nothing to do with that at all. So I thought I like missed a chapter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was.
That was very
Yeah,
frustrating.
Like, do they ever go back to that, or was that just a fun little cliffhanger that's gonna irk me forever?
The second one.
Awesome.
nice. Like it's a very interesting story, but I mean, I just can't invest all my time in that one thing. I wouldn't get other manga read. I wouldn't be able to watch anime and all that other stuff, right? Because it's like the same thing with One Piece. Like I
Are they
am where
gonna
I
find the
am.
One Piece?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, I definitely created parallels. I haven't seen either of them, but I know that as that much.
I
I do think
literally
it's.
can't watch One Piece because of how long it is.
I mean, that's how I feel about this.
Well,
That's how I feel about both, to be specific.
And
that's the
also
thing
because I
is,
have a boner for the 4 kids dub of One Piece because it's just better than the Funimation dub.
4 kids.
It is. I can vouch for that.
What? No, it's not. They censor. Okay, maybe the voice acting, but they censor so. Like, no, actually, no. Sanji's voice sounds awful in the 4 kids.
Sanji's
No,
voice sounds
no, no.
awful all around. The I've watched the comparison videos. The Japanese voice is
Either
bad. The Funimation voice is bad. The 4 kids dub is bad for Sanji. Sanji's just a bad voice all around. He just sucks.
well,
Yeah.
either way, I cannot agree with you with the 4 kids. Like after seeing the censorships and the different things, I'm just like, no, it just no, it just spoil. Like uncensored is always better.
I love the censorship that they did because it's hilarious. But anyway, moving on.
Yeah, but besides that point, I'm not a big fan of those time skips. That really bothered me. But also, I liked a lot of the small stories, but sometimes they confused me. Like, I guess because there is such an overarching theme, my brain was trying to find connections, even though they literally just don't exist,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I just like I understand where you're coming from, Gabby, because I just was so lost. I was like, okay, is this like a filler? Why would there be filler in a manga?
Oh, there's tons of filler in manga.
Oh, especially the
Really?
big series.
Oh yeah.
Really, I've never actually seen filler. I thought it was part of the story.
Oh no, like
I mean,
Dragon
it's
Ball
it's
Z
it's
has a
like the
ton of
beach
filler.
episode.
That's when it's animated though.
No,
Like I
even in
don't
the
They
think
manga, there's filler.
they have beach scenes in manga, my dude.
oh yeah, I guess that's true. But they tie it in pretty well with the story and stuff in manga. I don't know how to explain that.
What did you
Like,
think
Also,
about? Oh,
oops, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, what did y'all think about the structure of the mysteries? Did they feel solvable for you as the reader, or did they feel like there wasn't enough given to you as the reader, so you couldn't even solve it along with Conan as you
Okay,
read?
well,
I've
well,
never been
as a
that good at solving mysteries. In general, I'm just not a puzzle solver type way of thinking. That's just not how my brain works. So usually things I'm like, aha, until they give you that one last final hit, and I'm like, aha, I got it. Even though like I didn't really.
no, well, I kind like for me, it felt like I was like, okay, how did you get from here to here? And I was, and also when they explained it, I was like, some of these are like, how would you get that? Like the temperature of the room?
Yeah,
Seriously? Like, oh, guy committed suicide. It's like, what? Like, there was no murder, no nothing, but I mean, still, it's like, it was like, why would you go from, oh, the temperature in the air and this watermark says, like, okay, how would we suspect suicide from this?
yeah,
I mean, the thing that bothered me is they're like, it would have been an instant kill. It was like 1 inch into his back.
yeah.
Like that knife was like very precariously perched. It was like barely in there, and they're like, it was an instant death. I'm like, what? That really bothered me. Also, I didn't really understand that was a suicide until towards like the very end. But that's how I am with most cases, except the one creepy artist guy. I was suspicious of him the whole time.
Oh yeah. Like
Honest,
I saw him
honestly, I didn't.
drawing the picture and I was like, "All right, he's in love with her because he's drawing her very very diligently as she's
Yeah.
like hanging out with her new husband and he just looks sad." And I'm like, as soon as like the killing started and everyone was blaming him, I was like, that guy knows that if he kills somebody, the husband is going to get blamed because he's not in the family and he is related to a rival of the family. I don't think he knew the
Yeah,
rival of the family part, but
yeah, and
The
it
dad
was.
was an asshole though.
yeah.
Oh yeah, he deserved it. Like, like, but it, like, I don't know. I've seen a lot of asshole-ish villains, but he seems quite moderate-ish.
I
Well,
I can understand why like the dad or the grandfather whatever was like, no you can't marry her. She's your cousin.
Yeah.
yeah, that was fair, but
Yeah,
I don't know. I guess because I like art and I have lots of friends who've majored in art, and I hate the whole, oh, you got an art degree, what are you gonna do with that? I really hate that type because literally art is so important and so integral into so much of society. So I
I,
really hate that point of
I'm
view. So
like
it
that
really
with
bugged
every
me.
degree.
See,
We love current society, Jake.
the
I
thing
cry.
was, there's art everywhere. Like, my field is art. Like, custom web development is art. Like,
Podcasts
so I'm,
are art.
yeah. Like, Jake, you've made tons of thumbnails already, and you announced 1.3K so far, right?
Yeah. 1.3
Like,
thousand people have been at least recommended our thumbnails.
yeah,
By seeing it.
that's pretty cool.
What out of all of the little mysteries, which one was your favorite?
I think the last one. Not the last one, but the family murder.
Really? The boat one?
Yeah.
Like the one we just... I did not like that one.
I really liked it.
They
Well,
were
mostly
all assholes.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I felt.
Yeah, I was like, they're all assholes, so I'm not gonna feel bad about any of them dying. I also really liked it because, like, I called everything. I was like, oh, okay, so... I feel like they kept trying to be like, oh, it's this person, but it's this person. I was like, no, it's the artist, dude.
I really did like the ending, though, of that story. Of how the girl that the murderer pined after and her husband, they, like, got rid of the money and they bought a farm together. I was like, that is so cute.
That's actually
Adorable.
really good.
I was like, that's a mood. I find that really relatable. Also, I really love Ran and how her personality, like how when she started to think that that Conan was Shinichi, I forgot his name.
Shinichi.
Shinichi, when she started to like have feelings that it was that kid, I just loved her face, and then her being like, oh crap, I told a 6-year-old I loved him, and I think that 6-year-old is the person I love. I was like, oh god. This is so dramatic. I'm here for it, though.
You imagine...
I still think that she still suspects. She just doesn't know what to think because the professor, like, used the bow tie. So...
Spoiler alert. She does find out multiple times that Conan is Shinichi. Like, she suspects him multiple times and confronts him about it, but every time he gets away with it.
Well, Brian, it was a very strong offensive on Sakura's part, but unfortunately, her opponent is very dumb.
Oh, that would annoy me too.
It
She's
is
not
annoying.
Stupid. Ugh.
Like, Gabby, how would you have felt if you were babysitting one of the kids and then they're like, oh, do you like anybody? And then you're like, oh, I like this guy Tyler I've been talking to. And then you find out, like, later on, like, you confessed your love to Tyler as you thought he was a child that you were babysitting.
See, I don't even understand. Like, I guess, like, because they're kids, you don't mind telling them the name, but I wouldn't give them a name. Like, if a kid's like, oh, do you like anyone? And I liked someone, I'd be like, oh, yeah, maybe. We'll see how it goes. But like, what little kids are satisfied with that? A normal little kid isn't like, oh, what's their name?
Yeah.
As somebody who's worked with many kids, I can tell you that they constantly dig for more.
I mean, I've worked with kids quite a bit too, but they don't usually care about the name if you give them like the details in other ways.
Yeah.
Like, I've never had one kid be like, so what's their name? but again, I work with mostly younger children, like 7 and below. I don't tend to work with the older.
I worked with like 8-year-olds to like 16-year-olds.
Yeah, see, once they get to that age, they do dig for more. But I'm talking about like toddlers and little kids. If you relatively answer their question, they're usually satisfied, or they'll just give you the why. Why?
Yeah, why?
Why? It's like, why do you like him? He's nice.
Why? Why is he nice?
Why is he nice?
Because he treats me really well. Why?
I feel like I answered that with the previous question because he's nice.
Why?
I really hate though when little kids only respond with why. That is my like almost every kid goes through that phase, and it's my least favorite phase.
You know what
ever.
to do when they do that? Just say why not, and then they don't know what to do. They're like what? What?
It's still my. Yeah, you're not allowed to sass kids you babysit though.
Oh,
Generally.
I wouldn't. I would be a terrible babysitter because I will sass children.
Yeah, no.
I sass
tried not
children
to
all the
sass.
time.
I tried not to sass.
That's
kids
the
I
only thing you
babysat.
can
I'll
do
sass
is
my
be
cousins
sassy.
though.
That's your only defense against children is being sassy to them. Where are we in our talking points right now?
We were talking about which one of our favorite stories were like the individuals of our favorites.
Okay.
Individual murder stories were our favorites.
What was yours, Gabi?
And then we were just talking about Ran.
Yeah. How she's the baddest bitch alive.
Yeah, when she kicked in that door though.
She fucking kicked through a car window and just bashed his face.
That's what I meant. That was awesome.
That's great.
That was really great. I loved that.
I think she's done some drugs because she like smashes a wall in like the first 5 like pages. As if it's nothing.
Hulk smash. Ran smash.
So Ran, you think Ran is on steroids?
It wouldn't surprise me.
We didn't say what kind of drugs.
She's probably on some experimental drugs from the Men in Black.
The Men in Black, but I mean, what if the Men in Black actually was doing experimentations and they both didn't know about it? Like
Anything's possible in this manga.
yeah,
Except for growing old again.
yeah. I don't know. Do you think that he would eventually just grow old and die from child, or do you think he would just?
I think the manga will end.
Okay, what
Before
frustrates me is like, okay, LaKeisha, can you tell me if he ever has a birthday as Conan?
From the many chapters I read, no.
Which is
a weird plot point to ignore.
like, there's over 1,000 chapters, so there's at least been 2 years have passed. At least. Bare minimum.
I have a question.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry. Did anyone else have random questions throughout reading this? Because I felt like I did. Like, one of them was like, does Shinichi not have parents?
Oh, they solved that early. Well, not that early on, but they do answer that question. They are in the U.S. doing whatever they please, and they leave him alone in Japan to be an independent.
I think it said they were doing a tour for their books or something.
Yeah, he's like 15 or 16.
He's so little.
I don't know. I was left alone when I was like 16 or 17.
For years to just live on your own.
Well,
Not
there's
like
always
that,
a professor.
no.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point.
You have the professor to look after him, I guess.
I was left alone for like a few weeks. On a couple occasions.
Yeah, but that's okay. But that's different than living completely alone in a whole other country. Like a country that's not even close. Like a country that is all the way around the world. Like that's completely different, I think.
LaKeisha, what was your favorite mystery?
I guess the one involving the child looking for her father, because we learned a little bit more about the Men in Black and the experimental potion thingy that they used on Conan.
I did not catch that at all. I'm really not good at mysteries.
I didn't catch that either.
I'm trying to think. I probably liked the one with the doctor the most because that was towards the end, and we
Mhm.
got to see Rand start to figure some of it out, which I liked. So that was probably my favorite.
Yeah, it showed that Ren was definitely not just a like mindless. It showed that she actually could solve a mystery. Like all of them start to actually grow as detectives and really fast.
Mhm.
Yeah, like like at the beginning, I thought that the father, like the father, Rand's father, actually um was useless.
He is pretty useless.
Unless he gets hints from Conan.
Well, yeah,
Though,
but it seemed some of them seemed like he did it on his own.
Yeah,
are,
occasionally.
are we gonna talk about though how he kind of just straight up like beats Conan, who he
Yeah.
thinks is actually a 6-year-old?
It's kind of messed up, yeah.
Uh, yeah. Why? Like, why does he do that?
I think it's supposed to be funny, you know, because it was made in 1994. So I think it's like the haha, like it's so funny. Like I get the urge to be my kid too, but now it's just kind of cringy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little weird. That's actually really weird. Why would anybody do that, hey?
Like, that's not even his kid. He's punching him.
He's in my house, so he lives under my rules. Uh,
Yeah, but I mean, he doesn't even take care
I'm
of
not. I'm not
Ren
saying
does.
I don't support him. I'm saying that that's what this dude is thinking.
You think that's what this dude is thinking? Well, I mean, like, Ron's father really does seem like a narcissist.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, very narcissistic. And, like, I just didn't know what to think, especially when he had to take Conan's credit. Like, like the professor's like, "Oh no, tell no one else." Like he told the truth of who he was to that one criminal that was in the Men in Black, right? What was her name? Like it was a forged identity or something, right?
I think he told it to that girl, that woman who died, that got
Yeah,
shot by the Men in Black. And he also
that's
told, I think he told the business guy that was trying to run away with like the 50 million yen.
yeah, yeah. That was kind of stupid of him to do, honestly.
Yeah.
That was really stupid of him to do.
I mean, but who's gonna believe them?
Who's gonna believe them?
Yeah, who's gonna be like, oh, this child told me their name was Shinichi, but it's like
I
it'll
don't know
probably
what
just
just
get.
happened.
Yeah, they would probably send Rand to like a therapist to be like, I know you miss him, sweetheart, but you need to stop having weird fantasies.
Stop
No,
having
I
weird
swear,
fantasies about this
officer.
child. We're gonna have to lock you up, Ran.
Just no, I swear, officer. He's really 16.
Oh, Jesus.
He's 16, I swear.
Well, Ren is 16 as well, so it's
Legal.
yeah, but I mean still. It's kind of a touchy subject. We should not go there. Agreed?
we want to talk about Professor Wawi.
I wanted to know
Honestly-
information about him.
Honestly, I want to know what gives him these ideas for his gadgets. How he builds them. Like I mean, you have this really smart professor we know nothing about. Like, know what I mean?
I'm more surprised that his inventions didn't fail all the time.
Yeah.
Because that was a big thing that, like, they said at the beginning, like, he's a really good inventor, but everything he makes doesn't work.
Yeah, but everything that he made for Conan actually worked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
was
when he was first trying out, like, the super kick shoes, I was like, this shoe is just gonna, like, explode or something and not work.
Yeah.
No, he almost killed a real 6th grader.
6-year-old.
Yeah.
It's not a 6th grader.
Did I not say 6-year-old?
You said 6th grader.
No, you 6th grader.
I thought I said 6-year-old, so that's fun.
I kind of wish they had him in more, like, not just, like, this side piece.
I agree. I thought he was an interesting character, and I wanted to know more about him because he seems to be, like, the only real parent figure that Shinichi has.
Yeah.
But, like, we don't really see him unless he's giving him a gadget, or at the very end when he helps trick Rand to call as Shinichi using the voice changer thing.
He does
Yeah.
get more involved as the manga goes on, but in the beginning, not so much.
Which I guess kind of makes sense. But I feel like maybe, like, the other way around, where he'd be more involved at the start, and then as the series went on, he got less involved, would make more sense, maybe? I don't know.
I'm not too sure why that would make more sense. You would think, well, I guess because he gets back. No, he doesn't get back. That's right, he doesn't get back his body.
I don't know. It's just my brain of how I think about it.
I wonder when it's gonna end, the series. Like, how old is the author?
I kind of want to get caught up just to see how far the story is gone.
I mean, what else
I
are
feel
you
like
doing
you could
right
find
now?
some cliff notes.
I could just
No!
read the Wikipedia page.
No, yeah, if LaKeisha reads this, she's not gonna talk to me for like a month. I'd prefer she didn't.
I can talk to you and read it.
I was making a joke.
I started reading the wiki. That's why I was quiet for a while.
Well, we need to be very specific on our Conan stuff, right? So, no, Conan's a different anime.
It's Conan.
Just shows you where my head's at.
You're always thinking about cute anime girls, Kevin.
No, I'm not. Maybe.
Thinking
I
about
don't know.
K-On while we're talking about Conan.
Okay, they both sound really close.
You have a pronunciation issue, but that's okay. I do too. I appreciate that you make me not the worst at it.
You should see me read off Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
I've
Oh
pretty
my
much
God.
I've seen enough with manga.
Kevin,
and with
I don't
this
want to
podcast.
play Yu-Gi-Oh with you ever.
Really? Oh. Why?
I don't know. I struggle with, like, people mispronouncing things because I have this tendency of, like, wanting everything to be pronounced correctly. So I get really stressed out at myself when I pronounce stuff wrong. And when other people do it, I'm like,
How are we friends?
I'm the same
How?
way.
I like things being pronounced correctly, but we joke that for my mom's family that it's a disease. Like it's just the disease that my mom's family has because I'm really bad. But once I'm corrected, I will say it correctly, and I try to do things correctly. It's the disease.
It's the disease. So, LaKeisha, you have a thing on here about not to get super dark.
Yes.
You want?
But so during the case with the rich girl getting kidnapped, he got beat with a baseball bat and somehow didn't die. And I was thinking to myself, how could he have not passed out or died during that sequence? And then I remembered, in very dark cases where children are beaten, they can withstand a lot more than you would think, which is unfortunate, but also fortunate at the same time.
Yeah. So children are really interesting from a science and anatomical perspective because they're very weak in terms of like you shake a baby, it'll die in 5 seconds, or things like that. And they're so tiny and you could like squish them. But because they're so young, a lot of like things about children, like their bones and stuff, is very bouncy and squishy. So like you could like bolt a child and they'll probably be fine.
Uh,
But then in
disclaimer:
weird
we do not
accidents,
suggest bowling a child.
I don't suggest bullying children, but but a lot of times like kids you'll think that their arm is like broken in half and they'll pop up and they're fine. The source is that I was this kid. I was always hurting myself as a child.
As a parent, I can say that my child is very resilient because she's just like, oh, I tripped over this thing. And I'm like, oh my god, she just broke her entire self, didn't she? And she just stands up, she like, it's like, ow, and then continues playing. And I'm like, what? If that happened to me, I'd be in the hospital.
Yeah, kids are so weird. It's such a weird mix of resiliency and ability to like break them.
Like, I think it's just like they're not as rigid as adults, so they're just like, bleh. And they're like, all right, I'm good. Like it's so weird to me that like, whenever a small child gets really hurt, like breaks something, I'm like, I'm sorry, how?
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised that I've only technically broken one thing, and it was only a fracture in my pinky finger.
Oh,
I've never had a bone broken.
me neither.
I sprained my wrist, and I think I broke my pinky at one point playing dodgeball, but didn't go to the hospital. It just hurt a lot, but I could still bend it, kinda. And now
Yeah.
I have like this weird bulge at one of my
you broke
pinky
your
joints.
finger. You broke your finger.
Nice.
Yeah, that was broken. Because mine was just a hairline fracture. I jammed it in basketball.
Do teeth count as bones?
Sure.
They're not counted. When you say a broken bone, you don't count teeth. They're different.
I was gonna say, I got pushed down a set of stairs and broke a tooth.
That's horrible.
I didn't touch a single stair.
Oh no.
It was great.
Oh, lovely. Poor you.
And then instead of anybody helping me, a girl yelled at the guy that ran into me and pushed me down the stairs. Rather than being like, hey, he's got blood coming out of his mouth. We should take him to the nurse. She just decided to yell at the guy who pushed me down the stairs. And I was there on the ground like, ugh.
3D thinking. We love that.
And then the guy that actually pushed me down the stairs was like, hey, we should get him to the nurse. And he actually, like, basically carried me to the nurse, essentially.
I sprained each ankle like 10 times, though.
What a frail child you are.
Basketball is not good for the ankles. Neither is gymnastics.
Basketball's just not good.
I love basketball.
Basketball is all right. It's one of the sports that I like. I like basketball and tennis, really.
We got off on a lot of side tangents today. Anyway, LaKeisha, what would you recommend Detective Conan to your friends?
Yes.
Why?
How would you rate it?
I would give it an 8 out of 10, so 4 stars out of 5. It's probably because I read so much of it in high school, so I feel compelled to recommend it because I really got into it in high school. It's like, even though there's 1,000 chapters, there's a lot of unique mysteries that are solved. And I don't think a lot of the murders are recycled, like, method-wise. It's always something pretty unique. Which can say something about the manga meta-wise, but I'm not going to go off on a tangent. They kind of reveal information about the overarching story little by little. But once they do give you more information, you're like, okay, now I have to know even more. So I would say, if you want to read the 1,000 chapters that are left, go for it. You might like it.
Kevin.
I actually enjoyed it. I like sticking with the system that we do for art and all that. Like, I would give 2.5 for art. Story, I definitely give a 3. And it is all out of 3, right? Or is it out of 5?
3.
It's out of 3.
Oh, okay. Just making sure I was doing it right. And what was the last one? Character?
Characters.
Yeah, I feel characters were getting pretty well developed. So I have to give that like a 3 as well. So all in all, that's 3, 3, 2.5. So 8.5.
Okay.
And I actually would recommend it, even though I haven't been a huge mysteries guy. It kept me interested.
Hey, this might be your gateway to mysteries.
Yeah.
Maybe your gateway drug to mysteries.
Yeah.
And
Like-
Gabby, what would you do?
So if we focus on just what we read for the first 3 volumes, I'd probably give it closer to an 8. But thinking about more specifically like some of my problems and the fact that the only thing I really want to know is still not solved and it's like so many chapters have occurred, I think I'm gonna have to give it a 6. For that reason. And
Okay.
because just for it, but it's still really good, and I really liked the mysteries, and I did really enjoy it. But my small issues with it, like the time skipping and stuff, I feel like those should be taken into account.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't even take those into account.
Well, Kevin, Jake, what would you rate it?
I would give it a 7.
Oh, really? Why?
I give it a 7 because with the characters, there are 3. They're all really good. Like, other than like Rand's like, oh yeah, like kind of ditziness when it comes to like figuring out her mystery of who is this child. Like that's like
Yeah.
Ditziness, what do you mean by that?
she's
Like,
just kind of dumb when it comes to figuring out that Conan
It's like
is Shinichi.
It's like she's really
Yeah.
smart, but I mean, to be fair, it is kind of an outrageous situation. But they kind of overdo it, so I see where you're coming from.
yeah, that was kind of a problem with Ren.
And like art wise, it's old style art, but it feels good when you read it. Like, I don't like the old style of like anime manga art, which like if you watch the Oran High School Host Club episode, I do not like that art style of like
Yeah, they're
super
similar.
pointy chins and like really skinny bodies. I don't like it. But this one, like, it felt better.
So you would not like the art of XX X Holic.
I wouldn't know. I'd have to read that. I've heard that it's good though. I've heard that manga is good. The anime manga is
It's pretty good actually.
good. So art is like a 2. And then story wise is a 2 just because there's some plot holes that I like noticed when I was reading. Like when they're like, "Oh, let's go to this next mystery house." Wait, that's my house. And then it never talks about it. We just skip over that. And it bothered me so much.
Yep.
So I wonder
I'm with you.
I wonder if maybe there's like a side manga that specifically talks about that. It could be that that's what happens. There could be a one shot about it, but I doubt it. So like it's a 7, and I would recommend it to people just because like there's a reason there's 1,000 chapters. It's good. LaKeisha, do you want to shout out any social media?
Sure. On Instagram and Twitter, I'm Cotton Candy Dev.
Ooh, cotton candy, delicious.
Cotton candy dead.
Gabi, do you want to shout out? Do you want to shout out your social media?
Yeah, find me on Twitter at Show Me Your Manga.
Show me your manga. And you can follow me on Twitter at Make Me Your Manga.
He copied me. Just saying.
Yeah, I saw that yours was Show Me Your Manga, and I was like, I want to go with that theme, and I was like, Make Me Your Manga. And if you want to follow the podcast socials at Twitter, it's at SitManga. And Instagram, I think it's at SitManga Podcast. Basically, if you want to find us, you want to find our socials, look up Stick It to the Manga, you'll find our YouTube page, which will take you to our YouTube page, which will have everything you need. In the top right corner of the bottom right corner of our YouTube banner, you will find our Twitter, our Instagram, and our My Anime list. I don't have the Facebook page on there just because nobody really cares about Facebook pages anymore. I just made one just to somewhat make some socials.
But finish wrapping up. Thank you, LaKeisha, for the pick and for joining us.
Yep.
Never come back.
Oh.
I'm joking.
I'll make it happen.
No, she won't.
Oh, wow.
I'm joking again. You're pretty great.
Awesome.
And with that, we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye, manga fans.
Bye.
Bye.